right, there, I think we have it. I think I'm alive to nobody. Um, and so this is going to be the journey of mine to start and write a book in 30 streams. The rules are going to be kind of simple. Streams, not days, are counted. So every stream that I work on this novel is going to count for it, with the exception being this 0 day stream where I get to set up and just start everything and get rid of my frog cold voice, hopefully. I'm not allowed to work on this novel outside of stream at all. And yeah, we're going to do it start to finish. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of outlining, get that idea set. So I like to do my outlining on a piece of paper because I don't know, why not? And so first, when you start off, you're going to want an idea, right? And so just as a reminder to you guys, I have never published anything, but I've written about like 8 books. Part of this stream is to kind of motivate me to just actually get something out there and get something published. Maybe something that I don't really care that much about, because all my books I'm like, just, "Oh, I really want this to be good. I really want this to sell," but I don't have any writer's platform. There's nobody watching. This is off to a great start, I think. I think it's great. This is why we have this 0 day kind of just practice. It's going to be really awkward. I don't even know if I'm going to, you know, yeah, outline. Let's just outline, Jack. And so, really, you want to start with an inspiration to create an idea. And the quickest way that you can really roll out a new idea is to get inspiration. What genres do you like? What generally do you like reading? Um, find a book that you really like, or maybe something that you wish was a little bit better. For me, in this book, it's going to be about demons because that's really fun. I enjoy the spiritual warfare dynamic when it comes to demons fighting over souls. And so this is going to be kind of like my first dipping my toes into the romance world. So I'm gonna have a demance. That's a good idea. It's not a romance, it's a demance. That actually doesn't sound that good, actually. Never mind. Throwing out the demance idea. That's actually really bad once you think about it. Knowing what we like to get. Yeah. Again, it is 5 in the morning. I'm a little tired, trying to figure out when the best time to do these streams are. Probably more so just maybe I do have to do the mornings. I want to do late at night, maybe sometimes. But just figuring out this is a nice 0 day stream. Just getting used to talking to the audience and maybe not rubbing my nose next time. So we got our kind of idea and our concept. We want to do a demon romance, or gothic fantasy. And so definitely if you haven't already, you're probably going to research what's out there as far as your genre. Um, See if there's any audience for it. I mean, you don't always have to do this part, but if there is a little bit of an audience that helps you as a newer writer, I would think. Again, I'm kind of coming at this kind of new. This is kind of just wanted to document this experience of me trying for the first time to kind of really full heartedly break into this field because it's been something that I wanted to do for a long time. Um, Kind of paused to have kids a little bit to pursue my behavioral science degree. And so now I think just sometimes in my free time, I just want to do this, want to have a little bit of fun, want to write. And so for this stream today, the goal is to fully flesh out an idea. I have a little bit of a working idea, but really flesh that out. Do bare bones outlining, and then really for the first day, my goal is to write the last 3 chapters and the first chapter. I think writing the last chapter really sets you up, and having read in so many books before, if you're more of a pantser, that is really the way to go, because if you start at the end and you know what you're working for, it's gonna be a little bit easier, and obviously, the beginning and the end is going to be the parts that you will have to rewrite the most, so getting that done out of the way, and maybe perhaps even rewriting your ending, rewriting your beginning is a really good idea to kind of formulate your concept so it your book flows a little bit more. Alright, so I like to consider 4 things when writing a new story. It's gonna be your character, your setting, your theme, and then your inspiration. Inspiration, you're gonna dive into first, actually, even though I said it fourth. Whoops. So your inspiration is like, why are you writing this? Why does this book exist? This story exist? And for me, I'm taking a look at the kind of gothic fantasy because I think so many times nowadays, demons are done wrong. And I think demons are more so done. They're more so done wrong because there is this kind of obsession, and like we kind of put these demons a little bit more on the pedestal, and we kind of defang them in a sense too. The demons in my story are going to be, especially the stronger demons, are going to be more these demon just menaces, right? These demons are supposed to be evil, and in my story, they are going to be specifically evil. Um, we have our main character though. I'm making him a half demon. And so my inspiration behind this character is going to be taking a look at like an Alucard-esque character where he's half in this world, half in the other world. So he's half demon. You take maybe Percy Jackson, who's like a half, half god, half human. That's kind of the character that I'm working with. And so obviously Damien, I think, is his you know, running name. Damien's gonna be this character who is a half demon, and he really kind of struggles with that side of himself. Um, and he has a half human. Right now, at the beginning of the story, he has a contract out. Um, and what that's going to mean is that in this story, the demons have contracts on humans. And so every demon is assigned to a human, or every demon is assigned to multiple humans. And it is that demon's job to make sure that all the goodness, all the great things that that character or person is ever going to achieve, they're not going to achieve it. And so Damien, our boy Damien, who's probably gonna have a six pack. Yeah, he's gonna have a six pack. Six pack needed. I highlighted that one. So Damien is going to come across this girl. I'm not quite sure. I have a running name Madeline or Maddie. I think that's a good one. Um, Again, you're just planning it right now. You want to get through this step. We're not going to focus on, oh, am I going to call the character Maddie? Am I going to call the character like M- Mar- Maurice? That would be a weird one. No, Maddie, Madeline, whatever works. And so Damien is assigned to Madeline because she's this artist who is going to paint this picture. Right now, it's like a flower blooming in the cracks of a street, despite there being like rainy weather or whatever. Again, just a concept, just an idea. But this picture that she's about to create is going to inspire a lot of people. And for that very reason, it's going to be Damien's job. He's assigned to make sure that she doesn't make that picture or that painting. And so I think pretty much we have our main characters all set up. There's going to be a slew of other demons, other angels, and then also, you don't see too many angels nowadays. Mostly it's just demons fighting demons, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. And so let's go. We've already nailed down our two characters. You really don't need much more than that, I think, to keep going. Um, and there's going to be an angel character who's going to essentially leave Madeline as she's warming up to this demon in her life, Damien, half demon. And obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a romance, whatever. He's going to try to persuade her, even, um, I don't know, say tempt, but he's going to persuade her that her art style is not great and that she needs to do something else. And that she really needs to make sure that she doesn't draw this picture, paint this picture, excuse me. The setting, we're going New York. Um, Definitely going to need to be doing a lot of research, but especially even if you're doing fantasy, what I would recommend is picking a setting or picking a jumble of settings that already exist. You know, you already have a sandbox that you want to work with. It's going to take you a lot of time to build up a completely different world. But if you kinda slice different worlds together, like, "Hey, I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that, it's gonna be a little bit like this." So for this example, I'm doing New York City, but it's gonna be a very gritty, very extra gritty, New York. Even sometime in the book, they're going to be demon-possessed rats, demon-possessed pigeons, demon-possessed bats that are gonna attack the main characters. Um, very kind of gritty levels. Devil May Cry has also been another inspiration of mine, so it's gonna be kind of dark like that. Um, but like I said, I'm throwing in a little bit more of a balance with Angels, and so dark, gritty theme. We've got our 2 characters or sorry, dark, gritty setting. There's a dark, gritty setting of New York. We have our 2 characters, D and M and GM, and, we're gonna go ahead and work with that theme now. And this is a running theme. Um, and the way I like to run my themes is what does the character learn? What does the main character learn? And so the main character is gonna be Damien, at least in this novel. But we also want Madeline to learn something as well. And so Damien is going to again be this dark kind of character, so half demon character. He's going to be forced with either choosing his human side or his demon side. And now this is interesting because I'm granting demons in this novel certain powers, right? And so the powers are going to be the powers are going to be yeah, let's work with that a little bit. So we do want powers. Basic magic system is going to be pretty much dark and light, right? There's demonic powers and there's going to be powers of good, right? A lot of times, and what I'm doing is I'm having the angels take a back seat, right? Um, we're creating more of that real world theme of free choice. And free choice is going to be very important to these characters, especially to Damien, especially to Madeline, right? Damien's going to have to choose his human side or his demon side. Like I said, his demon side is going to give him powers. And so he's so used to that side of him, but being a human gives him other strengths as well. And so, as a demon, if he's relying on his demon side, he can't feel natural human things. As the story starts off, he has these powers. Demons, and I'm working this out right now as we speak. Demons, they don't have to sleep. And they don't really need much of those primary reinforcers. Okay, so sorry. ABA, behavioral science terms, your primary enforcers are going to be your, your basic essentials that you need to live, like sleep, as I said before, food. He needs to do very little of this. I mean, there is still a human side in him, but he's kind of abandoned that. And so, because of that, he has these powers. So doesn't need to sleep that much, doesn't need much food, um, and can't really taste anything. He can't really feel anything. And so this is beneficial as a demon because he can operate in all types of environments. He's not going to be protruded by anything like cold weather, even just a smelly dumpster. That's not going to phase him. He can't smell it that well. He's not a human. He's basically given up his basic human senses. He's disconnected from the world. And so essentially that has given him a lot of strengths. He has no empathy. Let me start off, right? He's a contract guy. He's given assignments from headquarters or down quarters, um, to really just attack this girl on all levels. And so what he's trying to do, he comes into her life at a vulnerable point, of course. She's just lost her job, and that is the catalyst that starts her on her journey to pursue art more so full time. And so he's got to come in and head that off, right? And there's multiple ways that he's going to try to do that. Once he's going to try to create some type of codependency with her, um, where she trusts him, she listens to him, and she doesn't follow painting like she knows it is. She believes that painting, I'm gonna paint the light in the world, even though they're surrounded by darkness. And that's what the painting is. I need to come up with a clever title like Bloom in the Cracks or something. I don't know. That's really bad. I don't know. Bloom in the Cracks is not that bad, right? Is it bad? Is it bad like zero viewers? Bloom in the Cracks. And so a lot of the success of this kind of journey is going to depend on me building an author platform as well while I'm doing this. So I'm going to be trying to do that behind the scenes. Um, yeah, let's just write for a little bit. Honestly, let's just write for a little bit. So like, I'd encourage you right now while I'm kind of writing, if you want to create an idea, if there's any idea that you really want to flesh out, I'm gonna challenge you to do that right now, right? And you can try my approach, you can try your own approach, but what I would suggest doing is nailing down your characters, your setting, your theme, and your inspiration as to why I'm writing this or why does this need to exist, right? And yeah, start. I've wrote it down as inspiration being fourth, but go ahead and focus on that first. What genre do you like? What is there not represented in this genre? What is not like take something that you liked watching, like for me it was Devil May Cry that you liked watching but it didn't quite get it right. Like what is your unique way to tell that story that no one else has told it before? Really grab onto that, gripple grab really grab onto that and kind of run with it, because that's what's going to make it unique. What do you feel like? And there's a lot of struggle when it comes to getting an original idea. Your idea is not 100% original, right? Just understand that. It's okay. A lot of things have already been written and already been done, but that's great. That's a great resource for you to go back and look. Um, pull up some ideas. Hey, like, what is something that you really, really like, but it's like, no, we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna run it this way. No one's ever kind of considered it that way because while stories have been written, so many different stories have been written, no one has written it like you will. And so really take your personality and just kind of figure out like, hey, what is it? What do you feel so strongly about that and are passionate enough to write, and that's just your inspiration, right? And for me, it's like, let's write a good demon story. I've seen so many Castlevania, Devil May Cry, um, really, really cool. I love it, but the demon aspect is done wrong. We're meant to sympathize with the demons. Demons are supposed to be evil, like really evil. And so yeah, you got your inspiration down. Okay. Now let's head on to character, right? Create at least your MCs when you write with. From what I've known when I'm writing, and I just like to write, I like to pants my butt off and just go through it. Get your main characters set, right? Get your main characters. For me, it's going to be Damien and Madeline. Um, they're going to go on this journey of just finding what the goodness of humanity is. And they're going to learn strengths from that, from their journey. Um, so, like I said, you got characters like that. It does help to have like maybe a character paradox. Um, like for Damien, for example, he's a half demon, but he's the hero in the story. It's really good. I haven't quite figured out Maddie's character paradox yet. And if you don't know what a character paradox is, it's a very quick and easy way of making a character that's very interesting because they have two contrasting things working out for them, right? You take Harry Potter, for example. He's this all powerful wizard child who defeated Voldemort. You know, those two things don't really go together. You know, you think all powerful, you think Dumbledore, this wizard, but no, the greatest wizard is this boy, Harry Potter, right? You think of other character paradoxes of let's just edit that part out. No, they're there. It's just my brain is a little bit foggy because it's 5 o'clock. No, it's 6 o'clock now. Look at that. Time flies when you're talking to nobody. All right. So great. I'm rambling hardcore here. I might need to do a late night stream instead of a morning stream. This is crazy. Okay. Again, just getting used to streaming. It's so much better to do this in front of nobody because I'm tripping over my words. I'm getting used to it. But yeah, you got your characters. Now you want to roll into your setting. Okay, where is this going to take place? It's very big and very important for you to know. My story is going to be New York, but a very dark, gritty New York. Like I said before, it's going to have demon possessed rats, demon possessed pigeons, demon possessed bats in some areas, but the story is going to, whoa, drank that water too quick. That story is going to advance beyond the point of that. We are going to get to the point where they're fleeing New York City. So it really is just going to be about certain places, and certain places are going to be elevated a little bit more. They're going to come into contact with angels, demons, whatnot. It's going to be kind of fun. All right. And so now you got your theme down. Go ahead and now that you got your setting done, let's tackle that theme, right? So we're gonna go ahead and look at what are these characters going to learn in your book. And so for me, the overall theme is there is goodness, there is light. And the way I'm gonna do that is to kind of slowly change the character. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with it. I know it is going to be a romance, so there are certain genre rules that I have to follow. If we're going for a good, and this is where you have to prioritize. A lot of times you have two genres that you want to work with. You have to understand which ones are priority, right? Is it going to be a gothic fantasy romance, or is it going to be a romance with gothic fantasy highlights? I haven't quite decided yet, but I have decided. I'm going to go romance. Romance is a little bit of an easier field to break into, and so this is going to be heavily romance, at least for the first book. Um, I like writing the books as a standalones, so well, actually, I don't. I like how do I explain this? I like writing series, but I like writing a book that can stand on its own merits. I don't like writing cliffhangers. I really, really dislike that. Imagine like reading a book, and maybe you guys done this before, even a TV show or whatnot, getting to the end of that season of that book and being like, "Oh man, this is great. Wait, this is a cliffhanger. I have to wait a whole nother year to read this book." Yeah, I think that sucks. Um, let's write that down. Cliffhangers suck. Don't do it. A little bit of a positive reinforcer there when I write. Demons don't have to sleep. Food. Yeah. So our theme, there is goodness, there is light, and again, we're gonna tell that mostly through the characters, right? What did the characters learn to choose that? A lot of times when themes go wrong is when we have characters go on verbal monologues, they preach about it, right? And so if we have a theme that we really want to tell, we have to convey it through our characters and through our story. Our characters are going to respond to whatever the world throws at them, and that's going to be very important. Um, and so got a theme, got everything down. I mean, I think we do have a good enough of a story to kind of roll with. Um, and like I said, for our day one, we're going to go ahead and write the first chapter and the last three chapters. These are the chapters again that you are probably going to have to rewrite the most. Um, and that just happens, right? A lot of times, what I find is when I write a first chapter, I want to start maybe earlier or I want to start even later. It's usually later. But I have a tendency to start too much in the action phase, too much, and skip past the kind of setup. So I'm gonna try to slow down real quick in this one, and so we're gonna set up the scene. Chapter one. He's gonna be in the diner, like a breakfast diner, when Maddie gets fired from her job. She's working a overnight shift. It turns into a morning shift, and she spills eggs. Customer gets upset, whatnot. She gets fired, and so she's depending on that job until until she got her painting down. But right now, she's still very not confident in her painting skills, and she does have a little bit of a vulnerability, and I think what I really wanna do is I wanna take the female archetype and kind of twist it on its head a little bit. She is not this strong character when she starts. Um, she does have certain strength to her, but she's kinda letting the world push her around a little bit. And I'm playing with the idea of there is so much strength inside of her, and it's pushing back against the world at this point. And she has to find that. And so when she's fired from the diner, she definitely goes into that fight mode. And her hope is kind of challenged, right? Because she has this great hope that she's going to be a painter one day and she's getting everything, but now all of a sudden she's gotta do something quick. She's gotta do something fast to figure this out. Otherwise, rent is gonna come due and she's not gonna be able to pay it. So that's the precarious situation that she's in. Enter Damien, who, you know, he's at the diner drinking coffee, even though he doesn't taste it. And demons don't taste things in this story. And so he just says, "Hey, you know, today's the day. That's what my contract says. I'm gonna sit down and wait for it to happen." There's other humans in the bar. There's a demon, but it's bar. No, it's a diner. It used to be bar in my head. Now it's a diner. Makes more sense. And so, yeah, demons. There's going to be and so the diner manager is going to be also a demon, and so these 2 demons are working together. Um, they're gonna assist and set up each other for, Madeline's kind of fall here, and they're working with her. The demons are more discreet to a point when they have to be. Um, when they have to use fear, they definitely do things to invoke that. um, like possessing demons. Sorry, like possessing, like pigeons, bats, rats to chase after people. Why not? It's gonna be good fun. Not for the characters, but for me. And so, yeah, that's what's gonna happen in chapter one. She's going to go ahead, gets fired, and so that's not necessarily going to be the inciting incident yet. The inciting incident is when Damien kind of comes into her life and comes in as this support character. Um, and so obviously he's going to come in. They're going to kind of maybe drink some coffee here and there, whatever. She's going to be kind of opposed to the idea of dating at first. She's going to try, she's in the grind right now. She's trying to support herself and just really move forward. And be able to make this painting thing, a which was a dream for her for the longest time, make that a reality. To do that, she's got to grind. She's got to work a couple places. She's not gonna. She's gonna have a hard time finding places. And so the next time that he's gonna meet her is going to be at a coffee shop. So she gets fired. Damien's going to be there sipping coffee. She's going to remember him as the nice guy who was sitting coffee, who was polite, as opposed to all the other rude guys that the demons were stirring up in the diner. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Um, yeah, she's going to meet him at the coffee shop. They're gonna banter back and forth a little bit. She her so honestly, what I like to do in certain scenes is for each scene, the character has a want that drives them, right? In this coffee shop scene, Madeline's gonna want to get her job. Get job. And then Damien start a relationship. And he's going for the slow burn. He's going for a friend at first. He has a lot of options and he's a very strategic character when it comes to strategizing ways that he can get Madeline not to make this painting. And so one of the first ways that he tries is to be even just in a friendship. Um, he has connections because he's a demon. He's gonna have connections to art studios, so he's gonna send her to other art studios. He's gonna either try to control her art and turn it into something that's not bright enough, uplifting for the world, or she's going to really just be in a relationship where he can kind of be in the driver's seat with her life a little bit. Whether that means just even taking care of her rent and doing things like that. And she's going to push back and be a little bit more independent. And that's where the tension starts, even from this first scene, right? Damien's all about getting to know her, saying, "Hey, like you were that person, right? Like, are you okay? Do you need any support?" She's not gonna have any of it, right? She's gonna be going from coffee shop to coffee shop looking for a job, and it's not going to work. Obviously, her reputation or you know, crazy demon guy from the diner is vindictive because he's a demon and he's going around and she can't really find work after that. She tries, and then perhaps there are some times where she does try. Maybe say like that's gonna be the first time, right? That would be really fun if she goes from coffee shop to coffee shop, getting fired in little ways. Um, and he's gotta find a way to not make it creepy though, if he's going from her from coffee shop to coffee shop. Um, and so I think I'll figure that out as Damien figures that out. And part of the joy, part of the fun of kind of pantsing a little bit more is just to really experiment with the characters' wants and needs and kind of if you outline too much, I think you take out the characters. I think you really just do take out the characters' just realness, right? If you plan on a dot for what the characters do, the rating feels very stilted. And I can often tell when reading if it just seems forced, if it's like, okay, the character was supposed to do this, we want to try to make it feel a little bit more natural. And the way that we do that is to really just know your character inside and out, know their type of dialogue, and build a good, strong character. Because if you build a strong character, the dialogue kind of writes itself, what I found. And so get Damien's character down. I need to get his character down a little bit more. Not be creepy. Because ladies, now I might be wrong on this one because I'm not a lady. But if you're trying to start up your, painting thing and you're just trying to grind at a coffee shop to kind of pay for your rent, you're gonna get really flippin' annoyed um by a guy who's just kind of following you around. Um, and so he's gotta be really cool and coy as to how he does it. Maybe he gives her big tips every now and then, and so she kind of can make it through. Um, gosh, how do we make that not creepy though? I think we start it more as a friend. It's gotta be a good friendship. It's just, I just want to help you out, you know? Maybe even. Let's see. Okay, but I mean, there's definitely some things that we have to work out as far as this chapter one goes. She's gonna get fired. She's gonna be at her lowest point. Um, Already worked a graveyard shift into a morning shift at this diner, and so she's very vulnerable, but at the same time, we see her strength where she kind of right after that, she goes to the nearest coffee place and really just kind of um finds the place. He's going to be more like a fly on the wall, kind of studying her a little bit. And it is creepy. It does I do need to keep some type of elements of creepiness. And immediately I'm thinking, oh gosh, immediately I'm thinking the Twilight series, right? How that interaction is just creepy when I read it for the first time. I still want to read more of it and do a full. I don't know. I don't think you guys want a Twilight. No, you guys don't want a Twilight book review, yeah. No. And so I want to get away from that kind of creepiness. Like, you're my heroine like kind of creepiness. Um cuz it's not great. And Twilight rant here for a sec. Those vampires suck, right? Like, stupid pun. No, those vampires are really bad. And that's actually something that I want to sort out on this too, because vampires are demons, right? And maybe you can get a half human, half demon element going for you, but they're so thoroughly butchered in that series because all the darkness is gone. They're not vampires. They're just like these weird, shiny. Yeah, they don't even burn in the sunlight. The reason why that logic and where the vampire, I think, mythos comes from is they are demons, and so they are affected by things like sunlight, which represents purity, running water, which represents purity, um, garlic, which represents cleanliness and just kind of cleaning and detoxing. There's so many just different things that she kind of butchered in that story. And so you can always take a story and just say, "Hey, they did this wrong, they did that wrong." Like Devil May Cry again. Like I really did not like how they did that. Um, Demons are just good, and in a sense, the demon hierarchy here. Okay, this is cool. Again, this is just brainstorming an idea. Give yourself a little bit of time, right? I'm giving myself about like an hour and a half to kind of just outline this out. You don't even have to take that. I just want to do it for a video and just kind of practicing here. Hopefully, I get through a little bit more and maybe can add some more stuff in here that I can clip for other videos. But you want to really just focus. Speaking of focus, what was I talking about? There's that good old ADHD. Um, Jeez, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Demon hierarchy. Yeah, this is fun. Okay, so way that I see it, and I want to do this a little bit more on my channel though. It's obviously you see I kind of have a deck of cards kind of motif going on, and I like to do that with the character creation as well. I'm probably gonna try to get some character creation videos out. Not character creation, just and so yeah, like I have the system I have is everybody is. Oh, I got a really good intro. Maybe I should just read that intro. Where did that go? Yeah. This is the intro that I'm gonna do for my um character dissection one. So like everyone thinks they're the. I'm not gonna say it like that. Come on, Eric. Everyone thinks they're the hero of their own story. All of them are incorrect. It takes a full deck of characters to write a compelling story. Some are deuces, while others are kings and queens. Some embrace the darkness, while others strive against it. And so I need to redo that actually for a good intro. But essentially, what you have on this hierarchy is you have demons, you have angels, you have humans. And so I do believe in God. So God is going to be, God and Jesus are our ace, ace of hearts, ace of diamonds. So you can't really get to that level of goodness. Um, I don't know. We call our angels. Our angels will be something else. I don't know even. Angels are hard because they don't have free will though. Mm, I think they have a little bit of free will. Some of them rebelled. So, anyways, you have, if we're going back to the deck of cards, you have hearts and you have diamonds, red. And so that's going to exemplify more so goodness. Um, Diamond characters are going to be like your protectors, your guardians. While heart characters are going to be more of your pacifists. You're seeking peace, you know? Um, and so I like to, that's just kind of a morality checkpoint. And so anything that is a above a jack is going to be like, this is a really, this person really exemplifies what it means to be a peacemaker in that respect, right? It doesn't always have to be peacemaker, but there's a certain morality that they have to have. And I'm working through it right now, you know. There's a certain morality that they have to get into that king or queen spot. And then your jack is just going to be your normal everyday dude. Jack of diamond, jack of hearts, everyday normal dude who uses those things and does a pretty good job of it, but they don't transcend past that. And so yeah, everything other than that, and then we go down, 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 down. The lower the heart count is, the lower they kind of are in that. And so my characters, when I'm creating them, they're gonna be going back and forth between the moment, but at the end of it, they're going to have an overall rating of a character that they transform into as far as what morality they need. Um, and so when you get into your spades and clubs, this is going to reflect something else, right? This is going to reflect more beastly nature. Your clubs are. And so these are people who kind of rely on their bestial instincts, right? This is just normal maybe a little bit less than human. So there's okay. Uh, and then we have our spades. Ooh, these guys, these jerks. Um, these are actually going to be either demons or very, very, very corrupt humans, individuals. You'll find a lot of your antagonists kind of in this realm of spades. These are your big bads usually. Um, whether it be corporate hogs, whether it be you know, I want to say prostitutes, but I shouldn't say prostitutes on your YouTube stream, should I? What can I and can't I say? Um, and there's male and female prostitutes. That's not good. Um, but these are just the people or demons that just thrive on using darkness in the world. And so let's break it down a little bit further. And so this basic morality system is going to be very important to my novel, actually, because this is going to be, depending on where you fall on this scale of morality, especially for our main character, Damien, that's going to be where he gets his power and draws his power from. Is he going to be relying more on natural human goodness, or is he going to be relying on his demon powers? And a lot of times during this first chapter, he is going to be relying on his demon powers. I just realized that I had to outline my last 3 chapters as well. And so, but essentially, Damien is going to struggle with this concept of being half human. And when you're human, and this is the theme for me, I believe you already have the image of God in you. Um, but Damien has to peel back the layers and really kind of discover um, the image of God in himself, right? Because he still is human. And in John 1:12, we have a really, really great quote. We're given the right, I'm probably quoting this wrong. We're given the right to become children of God. And so he has that right. And he's going to choose whether he wants that. And the beauty of, and I'm going to preach a little bit here. I'm going to get the Bible out then if I'm going to do that. And the beauty, the beauty of being human and trusting and putting your faith in God is the fact that he reinforces you. Obviously, we believe that humanity is broken, right? That's one of the key distinguishing factors that we have among non-believers. In a lot of ways, there is this brokenness that we see and that we accept in the human condition. And so, in spite of that brokenness, there's a paradox in us that we are also good and we are made in the image of God. So you have this duality of I am made in the image of God, but I am also this broken creature who needs a God. And so humans, we cannot be good. It says that in the Bible. And it really does. If you believe that there is a certain amount of pride in you, there's a certain amount of goodness, righteousness in you, on your own, that is pride. And that's kind of a hard thing to grapple with sometimes. Um, but if you can really find yourself and humble yourself and realize, no, I am not good. It is God in me who is good. God in me who is strong. God in me who reinforces me. Reinforces me. Yes, I said that correctly. When you think of it that way, it really does transform your life because now we're on the side of, sorry, not seeking after our own goodness and not proclaiming our own goodness and not kind of treating ourselves as our own God, right? That's kind of what happens when you have pride. I'm so good, I can take care of myself. You make yourself your own idol, your own God. And when you do that, you kind of put God in a box and you say to yourself, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to go my path. And a lot of times, where we find is that doesn't lead us into a strong relationship with God. Because if you have your own path and your own design for your life, you are going to run with it. And you are going to do that no matter what. Your will is so strong, your pride is so strong, you're going to go off in that direction, perhaps, maybe when God wants you to go in this direction. But if you're not listening to God and you're not humbling yourself to the point where you need a God in your life, you're not going to be able to experience the goodness of God. We said it before. The goodness of God can only be accessed through God. You can't be good by yourself. But the beauty is if you humble yourself and lower yourself to that of a servant and really study the word of God, soak that into your soul and listen and just be open to what God wants to do in your life, you will find that he reinforces you. You know, a foundation is only as strong as how much it can bear. And in the Bible, we're given this metaphor of building a house on the sand, right? You can build your house on the sand as much as you want, but the sand does not have the foundation needed for a storm, for hardship. And so if you are going your own way, doing your own thing, you are leaving yourself susceptible because your foundation is not strong. Your foundation is not sturdy. You trust in God. You lean on him in terms of struggle and you find that your foundation is solid. And the good mark of a strong foundation is not and a strong person of God is not how strong you are, not how much you can lift, not how much you can do, but how much you can bear, how much your foundation will hold on the evil day. And that God says that there will be evil days in the book. There are going to be demonic forces that are attacking you on that day. Whatever happened, whatever day it is, demon is on your back that day. That is going to be a hard day, and it's known as the evil day when you are getting attacked by spiritual forces. And you can go on your way and say that, hey, there are no such thing as spiritual forces in this world. Um, I could get to that in a different video proving that for you, but there are spiritual forces in this world. For example, like why do we want to do things that hurt us sometimes? Why do we crave things that hurt us? And because that's essentially what sin does. And sin kind of weakens our foundation a little bit because when we surround ourselves with sin, it's impossible to surround ourselves with God. It is really like feeding two dogs. If you have one dog on one shoulder and another dog on another shoulder, I don't know why your dogs would be on your shoulder, but you choose who to feed. Are you gonna feed your human side, which craves human flesh, or are you gonna feed your spiritual side? And the more you go on, the more you just you realize you kind of need him. And I that was my rant. I'm gonna get back to writing in a little bit. Sorry about that. But I think I'm probably gonna clip that. Um, this is probably going to be more of a Christian writing channel. If that's your thing, go for it. But again, that's my theme that I have that I feel so passionately about. But now, how do we take it and how do we roll with it in the story? And just how do we do that? Like, how do we like take something that's so like that and put it in a compelling story? Well, you can't be preachy about it, like I just was. There's no one that's gonna make that giant speech. I'm not gonna be forcing that down my readers' throats, you know? I'm gonna really make them I gotta be stop being so fidgety with my hands. I'm gonna really make them understand and look at it and be like, "Oh my gosh, like he actually learned to do this. He learned to do that." And so really kind of teaching a parable. If you're gonna teach it in a parable format. And the strengths about a parable format is this, right? You're gonna have some two different types of audiences, right? You're gonna have an audience that comes in that wants to be, either read or watch something and they just want entertainment. They want entertainment, they want a good story. You write a parable, you can still give a good quality story to those people who want it. There's people that maybe come to it and maybe this is all humanity. They want to learn something, they want to take away something, they want to be moved. You move them, you teach them, and those types of people will be able to see your underlying messages, right? And so and you're really giving them a choice too, and you're making it so easily enjoyable for everybody. And I think that's it, it shouldn't always necessarily be about making a story enjoyable. I mean, there are going to be points in the story that are uncomfortable or painful, right? But that's good. Like, let your audience experience humanity. If you're writing a drama, let them feel that drama. If you're writing a comedy, don't hold back. Just use whatever comedy. I mean, if you're writing a kids comedy, you can hold back a little bit. You have to, but just go for it. And so, man, this is a stream. It seems like it's long. I need to practice these because I'm gonna probably go on like 3 or 5 hour streams. Um, did we accomplish what we wanted to do today? And can we end here? Um, I think so. I'm losing my voice, so I need to drink lots and lots of water. But day one, we kind of planned it out already. Um, And uh, is there any last? So, again, the rule is that all writing for this book has to be done in these streams. I have one 0 day stream. So, am I going to try to get a little bit more out of this 0 day? Um, I don't think we need to set up our schedule, but yeah, going back to the morality thing, I really think that that's going to be really important in this story. And so I'm not going to force it down. I am going to play a little bit more so with the demon aspect. I know that's a very interesting idea. I'm not creating sympathy for demons here. I am really trying to make this a story about like really in reality kind of showing you what demons are, really how deceptive they can be, but then also showing you human side and how powerful that can be. Because I think that is something that is so lacking um, from modern day movies or even stupid Twilight book. It's not that bad, but it's no, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And so I want something more than that. I want this visceral gothic fantasy. Um, it's gothic modern. Is it really? Oh my gosh, how many gothic modern romantic? Oh gosh, fantasy. I don't know. Gothic. It's gonna be counted as fantasy because whatever. But romantic gothic modern. Yeah. The emphasis is gonna be on romance, and so yeah, let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about the three types of romances, and then we can figure out where I want my book to be on that. Let's see it. Okay, so you have three types of romances. You have romance where there's actual love, actual themes of love, and what I look for when I'm viewing the romances and the different levels is I'm looking for truth. And so in this romance, there's truth. Truth of what? Truth of love. So it accurately represents what love is. So this romance one, we're gonna look for the true love, yes, but we're gonna also realize the reality and the limitation of love, right? If you're gonna stab somebody in the back, that person's not always gonna come back running to you, right? And so that differentiates this romance level. Okay, so yes, romance, you having swoon. Romance, I take it, is just a love story, right? And so these type of love stories are rooted in truth. You know, you have Romeo and Juliet, and people think that this is such a love story. Oh, it's so romantic, but it's actually kind of a truth love story. These characters are so dumb that they pointlessly kill themselves. And that's why it becomes a tragedy because they are so drunk on love. And you can rewrite this any way you want. You can look at this any way you want. But the truth of the matter is, they're so drunk on their love for each other, they really lose themselves and they're not grounded at all. Right. And so that's where the tragedy aspect comes from. I- It's, it's, it's sad. It is supposed to be sad. Right. But it's a true kind of look at what love-sick people kind of do, right? And so the romance in a lot of ways, if you're striving for this high quality romance, which most people don't, let's face it, this is what you want to do. You want to have love, you want to have a very good truth aspect of love. And I'm running out of time on this stream, but let's do it. Let's break down what love is. Okay. So I like to look at the Greek words of love because love, as far as what our English translation has done, has really done us dirty. Um, for us, we you can love hamburgers, you can love pizza. I've done a whole nother video on this, so you can look that one up too. But love, there's three types of love, mostly. You have your phileo, which is going to be your brotherly love or your kind of neutral kind of love, like your bromances, your girlfriends, your if you're a girl, and then or whatever. That was weird. But yeah, that's just your buddy mance, right? You can have a buddy mance. Why not? It's not called romance because we're getting more into the intimacy part of it. Okay, and then you have eros, which is another form of love, and that's really that kind of sexual love. And love based on looks, love based on that. You have eros love type of love. You're going just based off of looks. And then you have a very important type of love that's very overlooked when it comes to writing modern romances. And that's why I feel like most romances that claim to be romances aren't. Um, your agape love. This is just self-sacrificial love. And I think that's the highest form of love. And so some people say that the opposite of love, like true love, is hate. I don't believe that. First, let's define true love. Okay, so true love is going to be your sacrificial love. I love you so much that I'm going to sacrifice my life for you, or I'm going to sacrifice my own happiness, my own comfort to love you. You can argue with me if you want. That's the strongest form of love. That's pure agape love. Doesn't matter how, if you earned it or not, you have it. Doesn't matter if you were a jerk to me, I love you anyways. Doesn't matter if you like stabbed me in the back with like a physical knife, I'm still going to take a bullet for you. That's freaking love, man. And so the opposite of true love is self love. You're loving yourself more than you're loving others, right? You're not gonna take a bullet for someone that stabbed you in the back because F that person, they stabbed you in the back, right? And so let's get on before I run out of time because my kids are gonna wake up soon. Um, poo, right? Now you have trash mance. And these can be fun, right? These can be fun sometimes. Okay, people screw each other up, but they get back together again. Whatever. This softy kind of lovey-dovey. The truth element doesn't always hold up. It's not gonna be as dramatic as a Romeo and Juliet. It's gonna be your love stories. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I don't know why I love that story. I shouldn't say that out loud, but I really, really, really like that story as a kind of trash mance kind of story. You might say, it's got the romance. It's a trash mance. It's on a lower level, right? You really have to put our romances on a higher level here, and that just ain't it. Let's be honest here. But it's fun, it's quirky. They both have very strong wants and needs that are very selfish in a way, but at the same time, they still end up together. Doesn't matter what they did, how much they would have ruined a normal relationship in the real world. Hey, everything works out. They make it together in the end. You have to understand if you're writing the genre of romance, most of the time, if you want to write commercial romance, you have to have a good ending. You have to have a good ending where the couples come back together, right? In some way, some form, right? Um, to hold myself to that standard of when writing this book that I'm writing, am I gonna do that? Is there gonna be a happy ending? You know, I'm not going to tell you. And there's a reason why I didn't go through my, all my. I said I was gonna write the last 3 chapters. I'm not gonna outline that for you guys. I really want you to read it and enjoy it and build up this audience. So, yeah, trash mans. They're fun. They're fun. They can be fun. They're not harmful in any way, I would say. Their themes are, they can be kind of harmful at times, but it's just you're not supposed to take it that way, okay? And now we have the lowest form of romances, and I made a whole video about this. Your lust mances. That's right. If a romance was about agape love and all that good stuff, and really romance is about all that type of love. It's just making it realistic, right? Lustmance is this fantasy that you can sleep with whoever you want. You can do that, and it's not going to hurt you. Um, I personally believe, and there's this rooted in a lot of truth, that we as humans are better if we pick one partner. I I believe that. You're gonna attack me for that if you want. You whole 0 viewers who are not watching this. This is fun. I get to say whatever I want without people clapping back. If I turn it into a video, though, they might clap back, huh? But this fantasy of you can sleep with whoever you want, it's not gonna hurt you or anyone else. You got 50 Shades of Grey. Um, let's catch up on some romance novels in the future, guys. I want to read some romance novels. I had a book here that I wanted to read during stream. There's no way that I'm going to be able to read it. It's The Robin and the Oak. I ran out of time, but I'll probably make a video about it. It'll be fun. I have no idea what this is. I just found this in Target, and I was like, "This is cool. I want to do that." Um, but Lustmance, it's just, yeah, it's just about lust. That's what it is. They don't ever get the the agape, usually, and it's just it's a false word of the use of the word love. Really, it's all about self-love and indulging in your sexual passions. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. Maybe I say sexual passions. Can I say sexual passions on YouTube? This isn't made for kids, so I can say it. Why not? Yeah, those are the 3 types of romances, by the way. Oh, don't smile like that. Yeah, whatever. This is crazy. I'm live streaming. I'm like self-conscious about little things here and there about my face. I don't know how people do this all the time. I think you just have to not care, which is good because I'm kind of a guy and I don't really care about that stuff. So it's like I usually go for it, but when I have a big picture of myself up on the screen and I'm and I'm testing everything. This is obviously like a dryer, by the way. You guys can tell that, huh? I'm in my like dungeon. I'm in the dungeon car. I'm in the dungeon garage. How am I gonna make it through a 3-hour stream if this is what I do at the end of a hour and a half? I've been talking a lot. My throat is sore. I have probably kids that are screaming upstairs, maybe looking for me. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I'm probably gonna cut it a little bit, but you guys let me know. We're gonna read a little bit more, but I gotta find out where I'm gonna go on the romance stuff. Um, Yeah, I wanna stick to the romance side. I probably will get a little bit in the trash man side, a bit. Um, this can be more so clean novel, but I am going to be pretty seductive in my writing just a little bit, a little bit. I'm gonna test that out. I'm gonna test those, I don't know why I'm flexing the muscles that I don't have. I'm gonna test out my seductive writing skills and practice that a little bit. That's really creepy. What did I just do? I should end here before things get creepier. Goodbye.